Hi, Jenifer. Here you
Yeah.
are. Oh my God, you look amazing.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for being patient.
Oh,
Jenifer is a founder of Soul Language. I'm so excited, and I have a mosquito here. Sorry. Jenifer is the founder of Soul Language, a paradigm that puts tangibility to a soul. So a conscious connection can be established to enable crystal clear decisions for success. Jenifer is also master intuitive and the author of two best-selling books. Currently, she had trained over 30 practitioners worldwide in soul language. And this time, there's over 5,000 individuals all over the world connecting to their soul language. I'm super excited to hear more. Hi, Jenifer.
hello. How are you? I'm so excited to be here.
So I am so excited to hear more of your story. Like what, right? How can people, what is the soul language? How they can start listening to their soul? And how
So,
did you heard that language? I've heard a little story, but I would like to hear it again.
I was asking some big questions about 12 years ago. Like, okay, I know what my life purpose is. It's powerful healer and teacher of service in the spotlight. That's great. What do I do with that? And where are my people? Because I'm really angry. Like, I'm tired. Like, I've got this big thing inside of me, but where are they? And a friend of mine asked me to speak at our conference about essential oils and life purpose. And this woman sat down next to me and went, "We're going to be friends." I went, "Totally." And then my inside voice went, like, "Why her?" And what I heard was, "Oh, that's soul language." And I was like, okay. So I started asking questions. And before long, I had a paradigm, a structure to put tangibility to soul. So we can create this conscious connection, so we can have clarity, so we understand the directions to take, so we understand how to move from little self to big self, from unconscious to conscious. And there's 107 core energies of soul. We call those languages. And each
Mm.
one of us has three. And I can give a one liner to every soul on this planet. And that becomes your mild marker of success. So, my one liner is I create balance for myself and others through love, integrity, and courage. And within understanding your soul languages is your purpose. So, you have a clear understanding of what that is. The being state of purpose, not the doing. Everyone gets confused about the doing and being of purpose. And understanding, how you show up in the world and understanding how you prefer to go through the world. So there's a lot of juicy information about understanding your soul languages. And it gives you a way to create this deep knowing, this deep acceptance with yourself. And from there, you can create freedom.
Yeah. How do we create freedom from it? How
Well,
to start even listening to it? I know a lot of people say, I don't know, like I don't even have an intuition, right? And that's very connected. I can assume that. And a lot of people say, I don't know what I want. Like, I don't know what is my soul language. I don't know what is my, even if I have an intuition, like how do can start connecting to it?
you can start with a very simple question.
Mhm.
So you just take a deep breath, you tune into your heart, and you go, "What do I need to know today?" And then just make some notes, write a couple notes down. Don't worry about it. And at the end of the day, go back and go, "Oh, well, I needed to know that. And look how understanding that would have transpired in my life." Just make some notes about how you're getting information so you know how your soul is speaking to you. And that's what intuition is, everyone. It's your soul speaking to you. So we all have it. It's about utilizing that muscle. And you don't want to start with your biggest problem, right? If you are not kind of on a continuous basis listening to your soul, you want to start with something that you don't have a huge amount of attachment to. So you want to start off easy to start getting and listening and understanding your soul rather than go for the big guns of like, why am I not in a relationship? Or what's my life purpose? Those are really big questions.
Mhm.
So, in other words, you get to actually allow yourself the luxury of starting small and starting to build that trust.
Mhm. Mhm. So just starting from one question, then moving to a few more. What do you think is actually, you know, keeps people from expressing their truth?
Ooh, well, do you have a couple hours?
Yes.
I,
No,
I,
just 20 more minutes.
it's
But
really
yes,
about
tell
if
us
you
everything.
it's really about feeling unsafe. I think most people through experience has expressed something that was true for them and they were rejected for it, or they were told to be quiet, or that they were not enough, or really kind of criticized or slapped down for it. And I think that's why people have a really hard time of expressing their truth. And I also think that people don't really understand what their truth is. There are little T's and there are big T's. The big T's are you're whole and complete, you're one with everything. That's the big truth. And I think so often we're trying to express our truth through the little ones. And when we don't have that big one down, it's even harder to express the tiny ones.
Yeah. Yes, it's amazing. Yes. So, all right. And so, but yeah, so how can we start asking like those small, what are the small questions to build
Okay,
soul trust?
so the small questions are like when you're trying to express your truth, you're trying to express the small things, right? Like boundaries, and which isn't small at all. But you want to be, especially in conversation where someone's saying something and that that's not how you feel, that's expressing your truth, right? But that's so hard to do when you don't know that you're whole and complete. So here's what everyone's going to do. You're going to take a deep breath and you're going to tune into your heart and you're going to ask your divine intelligence, your body, to fill you with the feeling and knowing that you are safe to express your truth and live your purpose. And then when you have to express the little truth, like, no, I don't want to walk your dog for the 100th time today, right? You're starting from a place of wholeness and completeness versus I'm afraid, I'm scared. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. And I would love to know, like, what is the difference? Like, soul language, is it a one language? Is it a 10 languages? Like, what is the difference between those soul language?
There's 107 core energies of soul. So it's your divinity. We're putting words to the divinity. Love languages are how you're expressing love. Your soul languages are your fundamental energy, DNA. They are yours this lifetime. They do not change. And what you did when you were on the other side, wherever we go, is you said, hey, I want to experience this time. And I'm going to need these core energies of soul to help me do it. And so that's what it is. It's energy of divinity that you have special access to utilize as your bus ticket to receive whatever you want and go wherever you want to while you're in this planet and in this world. And so that's the difference between soul languages and love languages. Soul languages, some people will think they're kind of archetypes, but they're not, because they're living, breathing consciousness. So if you and I speak the same soul language, which I don't know if we do, but if we did, and you transform something in your life, you put that into the energy fields, and I have the opportunity to pick it up and utilize it because we're one and we're both individual. So it's really putting words to your own divinity. That's what the soul is. It's just your divinity, your individualization of that big, what I call the God goo.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. God, good. What is your soul language?
So my mission here is as an equalizer. It's all about creating that perfect formula balance, first for myself, because everything starts at home, everyone, and then for others. So here's a perfect example. I'm at the dog park today, right? And I'm like, I hope the dog park's not crowded. Like, I want the perfect dog park. I want a couple dogs so she can play, but I just don't want to talk to a lot of people, right? So we get there and the dog park is packed. I'm there 5 minutes and the dog park is exactly the way I want it, in total balance, right? So that's what my energy allows myself and others to do, to come into this balance. How I'll be known here is called teacher of integrity. So all of my life, I've been able to see where people are out of the consciousness of love. So I offer them the chance to get back into it, which means back into balance, which means back into knowing that they are an unstoppable freight train, the master of their own universe. And then my soulful personality, how my soul prefers to go through life, is called graceful warrior. action, movement, courage, and grace. So people come to me because they want to be surrounded by courage. They want internal and external actions. They want to understand that they don't have to make war with everything, that they can really tune in and tune into their essential nature and live a life of freedom and receive from it. So that's a little bit about me on a deep soul level.
Hmm. That is so cool. How can you find this out? Like, what is that? What does that take
So
to
you
find
need to
out
go
your?
to a, yeah, you need to go to a soul language practitioner. It's not a quiz. We do it through energetics. So it's a, what we do is muscle test. Our body becomes the pendulum on your soul's behalf. So I've trained about 38, 39 other practitioners to use it in their soul language work. So you actually need a practitioner to identify your soul languages. But here's the thing. Anyone watching this can log onto my site and get a discovery session free where I'll identify one of your soul languages as my gift. And that will give you immediate tools to connect. It will give you immediate way to actively transform your life. And it will give you endless stuff to, from words to use in your elevator speech to moving more consciously in relationships.
Okay. Can we do one for me? Oh,
We
you said
can,
like you need to do muscle testing.
we can, but I never do it online. I never do it
I see.
live. Here's why. It's so intimate. And I've
I'm
been called,
fine.
right? I've been called the Barbara Walters of intuitives and liquid nitrogen because I get to the heart of the matter. And you look too beautiful today to have you sobbing during your live. Like it's so intimate. And but I'd be happy to. We'll just secure a time where we can do it.
That is so awesome. Would you? So, what is the like number one mistake people do when they're trying to understand themselves, right? Or like speak out? You say it, you can use those words and the right words. And like speaking of the throat chakra, how does it relate to our soul and throat and like speaking out?
So the throat is all about your divine voice. And so often people, when they can't, especially trauma, okay, if you've experienced any sort of trauma, and we all have, okay, the human reaction of trauma is to shrink, right? Is to go very, very small. So you don't look like prey and something will pass you by, right? So the divine voice is your ability to shine. It's your way of communicating your soul to the world. And so often when people have trauma, they have this stuck energy right here. So let's do something. Let's do something. You want to play with me today?
I'm
Okay.
in.
So good. So I'm going to use words you might not get. All your job is to do is get on the bus with me. Okay. So here goes. I want you to take a deep breath. I want you to everyone tune into that throat chakra. Right here, right now, with divine love, I activate the knowing and the ability to know in every moment that I am safe to utilize my divine voice. And with this activation, right here, right now, any pain and suffering around my divine voice is turned to love, even if it's just a little more love. And in doing so, I am set free. And I love to hear what you experienced.
I feel more elevated mood. I will say it's like that little just I mean my mood is also on high already on top of like 10, but when I express that and say it out loud, like I could feel in my body just the energy started to like it shifted and moving, and it's like even higher now.
And even without you knowing it, there was something that was stuck there, right? So just by even tuning it in, it became like champagne and you were like lifted, right? I think so often we don't utilize this divine voice because of lack of safety. And anyone who has a very big mission and wants to impact the world, wants to really be a purpose, they're going to have to express themselves. And that doesn't always mean that you have to use your voice, whether you express yourself in writing or in art, you still are using that divine voice to do so. So it's really important that that is aligned with your heart and it's aligned with your root, right? because the root is the seed of you receiving everything you want and desire. So those three, all the chakras have to be aligned, but those three are very important to be aligned for you to live your purpose, know you're living your purpose, and express it. And here's the thing I want everyone to remember. You're being your purpose right now. The delivery system might be off. So the more we understand and accept our purpose, the delivery system, the doing, whether you're a coach, a writer, an artist, or you're, working behind a counter, right? When we accept that purpose more, when we have words for it, the delivery systems become much smoother. I was being my purpose in corporate America. It was an awful delivery system, but I was the answer girl. People would come to me for answers about everything, right? People would talk to me about everything, and I would be giving them guidance and support on top of working and doing all of my other jobs, right, in corporate America. So it's really about not just understanding your purpose, but understanding your delivery system.
Mm-hmm. Delivery system.
So what if
I love that. So I have a question here. How
yeah,
does one really realize or discover their soul energy? All right. What if we are still unsure of our purpose?
okay. So your purpose has a couple parts. It's what you want yourself and everyone here to embody, and you're all going to get big answers. And then you're going to go, but I don't, that's such a big answer, love. You're supposed to get a big answer. Then we small chunk it to see what your part of that love is. Another part of your purpose is your greatest challenge. Okay. So that thing that you keep hitting your head against, right? For me, it's not enough. So every time I know I'm not enough, that's a signal. Oh, wait, I got to step back and be more in touch with my soul. The reason why your challenge is your purpose as well is because it's building tools for you. It's building skills. It's helping you choose to know you're whole and complete and live your purpose. So another way to ask your purpose is, if I knew I was whole and complete, if I knew I would be taken care of, what would I be being and doing in the world?
Mm.
Right. And I think so often when people are looking for their purpose, they're looking for that magic bullet. They're looking for that golden ticket. And a lot of people are being their purpose. They're just not aware of it because they want it to look like something different. And the moment they accept that they're being their purpose, that new delivery system will show up.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yes, this is awesome advice. So cool. And I want to talk a little bit more about, you just one thing you mentioned, it's being. And I think this is just a really important part of everyday life. And as I mentioned, I'm teaching leadership, and it's all about being. Like, who are you being today? Because without having a purpose to be someone, like, how can you do something and have something? Like, you got to be in your purpose, like being the purpose. Once you are feeling it, you are going to be on it. And I teach that in Purposeful Day. Like, once you master the purpose of one day, your life become purposeful. Like, you just need to master one day. And that's definitely a little bit more grounding, I feel. And I know that you're sharing with us a sacred practice that works. Would you share, would you expand on that? Why do we need a sacred practice?
Yeah, you need a sacred practice because it creates a foundation. So
Mhm.
it creates a foundation, it creates a deeper sense of safety. You will turn in and ask questions, you receive guidance. And so when a challenge occurs, and challenges will occur, you're not already behind the eight ball. You already know you're connected. So if the challenge gets you a little off your block, you get up quicker. A sacred practice really keeps us grounded. It keeps us aligned. It keeps us choosing connection. It keeps us remembering that we are whole and complete, that our experiences here are not our essential nature. And what I mean by that is, if you're having a bad day, it's not because inside you suck. It's just because you're having a bad day. And so a sacred practice really supports you getting in touch with you and whatever you call your higher power. So you always feel a little more at home. And it allows you to also to avoid big problems. So during that sacred practice, the things that are like opening you up for expansion are going to occur rather than you getting hit by a freight train of expansion because you weren't listening or participating in your own evolution.
Mm, I love that. I love it. Thank you so much. And I'm going to share a link. You guys can grab the sacred practice. I believe it's a checklist or something. And we'll totally can tune in a sacred practice. And as Jenifer said, there's probably going to be information on how you can schedule your call and connect with her and figure out your soul purpose. Like, isn't that cool? Like, what is my soul purpose? I love that. And
I
this is
think
the
it's
same
really
link.
important. I think it gives people, since the beginning of time, we've all wanted to know like our role and our place here. And so when people have words to it, it's easier to accept it. It's easier to make decisions based on that. And you have a deeper sense of where you are on your journey. You have a deeper sense of being connected to something. And I
Mhm.
think so often people are shocked that they weren't fully aware of it because they're like, oh, yeah, that totally makes sense. Oh, yeah, that totally resonates. It's, oh, yeah, wait, that's my purpose. But I've been hearing that all along. And I'm like, yeah, now let's accept it. And I think that's key. I think it's not just finding it out, it's about fully accepting it and then really allowing the universe to support you, expressing that purpose.
Yes, almost, often I do energetic calendars for people, like where they are and energetically in their cycle in life. Every time I tell them, they're like, their reaction's like, oh my God, this is exactly what I'm doing. I'm like, yes. It's like, you are living your purpose, guys. It's like, your life, it will direct you. It will like give you feedback, and you will always direct you to this right alignment to go, because you can be not your purpose. Like, you are your purpose. All
Yay.
right. Awesome. Super cool. And thank you so much. Any other last tips and wishes to our audience today?
Yeah, I want people to remember that if they're in a corporate job or they're feeling that their delivery system's not meshing with their purpose, start to look at it as a paid education. Start just to go, okay, God, universe, tree, Bob, cupcake. I'm ready to see how I'm being my purpose right here, right now. And you'll start to see
Mhm.
the big themes that will lead you to understanding your purpose more.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was so cool. And if you love this episode and you would love to see more of that, click the subscribe button to Purposeful Woman Podcast. And don't forget to text us to stay in tune with the Purposeful community for awesome tricks by texting to number +1 401 399 4105. And we will link descriptions in the episode to all of that we mentioned today. Bye. Turn your one day to day one with a purposeful day.